Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where we're taking a really fascinating snapshot of the world as of June 30th, 2026. What we're seeing in the data right now is a profound pivot. We're officially moving out of that phase of intense, kind of chaotic experimentation, and we are finally settling into a concrete, operational reality. From global diplomacy all the way down to the exact tools you're using at your desk every day, the big theme right now is infrastructure, resilience, and measurable results. So let's get right to it and break down exactly what this shift looks like in the real world. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. Global stability amidst extremes. 2. AI shifts to infrastructure. 3. Powering the new grid. And 4. Transforming work and life. All right, Section 1. Global stability amidst extremes. Markets and geopolitics in balance. Now, what's really interesting here is the wild contrast between the intensity of world events right now and the remarkable steadiness of global markets. Think about the extremes we're seeing. On one hand, Middle East diplomacy is absolutely dominating international news. And at the exact same time, you've got these extreme record-breaking heat waves putting severe stress on infrastructure across both the US and Europe. But despite all that, human activity just keeps pushing forward seamlessly. Summer travel is hitting an absolute peak as we roll into the July 4th holiday. And globally, everyone is glued to the World Cup knockout stages. It is a perfect picture of extreme conditions being met with just profound systemic resilience. And you know what? That resilience is heavily reflected in the financial sector too. Despite all the geopolitical volatility we just talked about, long-term market optimism is completely intact. Investors are basically looking right past the international friction and focusing strictly on the fundamentals, things like upcoming employment reports and inflation data. Oil prices are staying relatively stable, energy markets are balanced, and hey, assets like Bitcoin are hovering right near recent trading highs. The global supply chain is just operating normally. It's really a masterclass in cautious optimism. So for everyday investors and businesses, the sky is definitely not falling. Moving on to Section 2, AI shifts to infrastructure from hype to measurable returns. Okay, this is huge. We are officially witnessing the end of the AI hype cycle and the rapid acceleration of the infrastructure phase. Enterprise AI is no longer this shiny new toy, right? It's moving out of those isolated pilot projects and directly into everyday production. Enterprise customers are now actively demanding predictable operating costs and actual, measurable returns on their tech investments. The days of throwing capital at a wall just to see what an AI can do, yeah, those are over. Today, businesses are only rewarding AI deployments that genuinely improve the bottom line. If you really want to know what this looks like in practice, you just got to follow the money. Notice the massive concentration of capital pouring into foundational tech. We're talking huge investments in semiconductor manufacturing just to meet this endless demand. There are massive expansions happening in cloud platform capacity all over the globe, steady growth in edge computing, and of course, deep integration of AI right into enterprise software. Businesses aren't just buying software anymore, they're literally building the heavy digital machinery required to run an intelligent economy. Which brings us to the new mantra for technology leaders: operational stability becomes a competitive differentiator. Let that sink in. Tech leaders are increasingly prioritizing reliable, intelligent workflows over flashy new features. Because at the end of the day, if your systems are stable, predictable, and consistently productive, you are winning in 2026. Section 3. Powering the new grid, the physical cost of digital intelligence. Let's see how this builds, because all of this digital infrastructure has a very real, very physical cost. You simply cannot build a massive AI ecosystem without completely rethinking how we generate and distribute electricity. It's a direct chain reaction. Step 1. AI integration across the economy demands a vastly broader compute capacity. Step 2. That compute capacity requires enormous, incredibly energy-dense data centers, and that drives massive spikes in local and regional electricity demand. Which leads to Step 3. Utilities are forced to completely reshape their long-term planning, setting off a massive expansion in grid modernization projects. The virtual world is literally terraforming the physical power grid. And to handle this sustained power demand, the energy sector is having to move incredibly fast. Transmission infrastructure investment is accelerating rapidly. Because we absolutely need stable, always-on power, nuclear energy is actually attracting heavy policy interest right now, sitting right alongside steady natural gas markets and massive investments in renewables. And to balance all that out, battery storage deployments are growing significantly. To put this into perspective, some of these new AI data centers require the same amount of power as an entire small city. So ultimately, grid resilience has evolved from just a local utility headache into a top-tier national security and infrastructure priority. Finally, Section 4, Transforming Work and Life, AI Integration in 2026. Let's bring this all back down to the human level. How are these massive global and infrastructural shifts actually reshaping our individual experiences in 2026? Well, just look at the sheer breadth of this transformation. In healthcare, AI-assisted diagnostics are seeing much broader adoption, and it's actually shortening portions of the drug discovery process, which is amazing. In software development, AI coding assistants aren't just novelties anymore. They're standard everyday workplace tools. In the creative fields, multimodal AI is totally reshaping industries, even as the public debate about the nature of art continues. And in science, high-performance computing is accelerating everything from climate monitoring satellites to actual literal planning for Mars exploration. AI has basically become the new foundation for practically every professional sector. But hold on, I want to pause here for a second because this is absolutely crucial. Despite all this automation reshaping office workflows, the data shows us that human oversight remains essential. Employers aren't just looking to replace people with machines, they're prioritizing practical AI productivity, and that requires skilled humans at the helm. Skills-based hiring is expanding, and continuous learning is more valuable than ever. The human capacity for judgment, nuance, and strategy, that is exactly what's needed to guide these intelligent systems.
And outside of work, human culture is absolutely thriving. We aren't just sitting around letting algorithms entertain us. The creator economy and podcast audiences are expanding like crazy. The summer movie season is successfully drawing huge, packed audiences to theaters, and streaming competition remains incredibly fierce. Even traditional media is successfully pushing forward with its digital transformation, and live entertainment is remarkably strong. So the technology is augmenting our culture. It's certainly not replacing it.
Which brings us to our final takeaway. We've seen how the world is balancing extreme events with economic resilience, and how AI has evolved from a flashy buzzword into the actual electrical and operational infrastructure of our daily lives. So I want to leave you with this question to chew on. With AI shifting from experimentation to everyday infrastructure, is your business prioritizing measurable returns? The era of the pilot project, yeah, that's over. It's time to build. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.